The billing alert arrived at 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, flagging an unauthorized access to my client trust account that shouldn't have existed. I'm Quentin Huntington, 42 years old, international arbitration partner at one of San Francisco's most prestigious partnerships. 20 years of practice had taught me to trust patterns, and this one felt wrong from the moment I saw the notification on my phone. The alert showed someone had accessed the Meridian Industries arbitration files at 1:43 a.m. Our case management system logged every entry, every document view, every billing code applied. I'd been handling this $50 million dispute for 8 months. The client paid a substantial retainer. The files were locked to my access only. I pulled up the detailed logs on my laptop. The access came from Partner Terminal 7. That was Desmond Blackwood's workstation, my mentor, the man who recruited me from Big Law 15 years ago, the partner who'd vouched for my promotion to the executive committee last spring. But Desmond was in London this week, negotiating a cross-border acquisition. I'd spoken with him yesterday afternoon about the Meridian case. He'd seemed distracted, asking unusual questions about our fee structure and billing timeline. Questions that made more sense now. The system showed he'd downloaded 3 specific documents: the client's confidential settlement authority, our internal cost projections, and the strategic memo I'd written about their weakest legal positions. Information that would be invaluable to opposing counsel. Information that could tank our entire case strategy. I scrolled through more entries. This wasn't the first time. The logs showed similar late-night access patterns going back 6 weeks. Always when Desmond was supposedly traveling. Always targeting my highest-value international cases. My phone buzzed with another alert. Someone was accessing the Meridian files again. Right now. At 2:31 a.m. But according to our travel system, Desmond Blackwood was still in London. I grabbed my keys and headed for the office, knowing that whatever I found there would change everything I thought I knew about the partnership I'd helped build. The elevator climbed to the 42nd floor in silence. Our building's security system required keycard access after midnight, but my executive committee privileges opened every door. The hallway stretched empty before me, lit only by emergency lighting that cast long shadows across the marble floors. Partner Terminal 7 sat in Desmond's corner office, its screen glowing blue in the darkness. I approached carefully, my footsteps muffled by the thick carpet. The workstation showed the Meridian files open, specifically our damage calculation spreadsheet. Someone had been here recently. The coffee cup on his desk was still warm. I checked the building's access logs on my phone. Desmond's keycard had been used to enter the building at 1:15 a.m. But airline records showed his flight from London wasn't scheduled to land until tomorrow morning. Either the records were wrong, or someone else was using his credentials. The truth hit me as I scrolled through his computer's browser history. Merger documents. Acquisition proposals. Financial projections showing our international arbitration division as a redundant asset in a potential combination with Sterling and Associates. My division. My cases. My career. Desmond had been planning this for months. The late-night file access wasn't corporate espionage for opposing counsel. It was due diligence for a merger that would eliminate my position entirely. He'd been feeding our case strategies, client lists, and billing data to potential buyers, positioning himself as the architect of a deal that would make him millions while destroying everything I'd built. I photographed the screen with my phone, capturing the merger timeline. Phase 1. Complete due diligence on target divisions. Phase 2. Secure client transition agreements. Phase 3. Execute partnership restructuring. My name appeared on a list titled Redundant Personnel International Arbitration. The Meridian case was just the beginning. I pulled up our firm's client database and cross-referenced it with the files Desmond had accessed over the past 6 weeks. Every major international client. Every significant arbitration matter, every piece of strategic intelligence that would help Sterling and Associates understand exactly what they were buying. But Desmond had made one crucial mistake. Our case management system didn't just log file access, It tracked document modifications, email forwards, and external data transfers. I pulled the full audit trail and found what I needed, of systematic data theft spanning 3 months. The elevator chimed behind me. I spun around as Desmond Blackwood stepped into the hallway, his London flight apparently having arrived early. He moved with the confident stride of a man who believed he controlled every variable in his environment. "Quentin." His voice carried its usual warmth, the tone that had convinced me to leave my previous firm 15 years ago. "Working late again?" You know, that's exactly the kind of dedication Sterling and Associates values in their senior partners. I kept my expression neutral, my phone recording our conversation. "Interesting choice of words, Desmond. Sterling and Associates." His smile faltered for just a moment. "I'm not sure what you mean. The merger documents on your computer suggest otherwise, along with the client files you've been accessing while supposedly traveling. The Meridian case data you downloaded tonight. Should I continue?" Desmond stepped closer, his mentor facade finally dropping. "You always were too thorough for your own good, Quentin. Yes, there's a merger in progress. Yes, your division is being consolidated. But this isn't personal. It's business. Sterling needs our international client base, not our overhead. And the late-night file access? The strategic memos you've been copying? Due diligence requires complete information. Our clients will be better served by a larger, more efficient organization. You'll receive a generous severance package." I held up my phone, showing him the audit trail I'd compiled. "What I'll receive is a systematic breach of fiduciary duty, theft of confidential client information, and violation of our partnership agreement. Unless you'd prefer to explain this to the State Bar yourself." For the first time in 15 years, I saw genuine fear in Desmond Blackwood's eyes. The man who'd built his reputation on reading people and controlling outcomes had finally encountered a situation he couldn't manipulate. "You have no idea what you're interfering with, Quentin. This merger will happen with or without your cooperation. The only question is whether you want to be part of the solution or become a problem that needs to be resolved." I vouched for their innocence during an internal audit just 6 months ago, when questions arose about unusual billing patterns in the London office. I defended Desmond's integrity to the executive committee, staked my own reputation on his character. The betrayal cut deeper than any financial loss. But now I had everything I needed. Documented of the theft, recorded admissions of the merger conspiracy, and proof that my mentor had been systematically destroying my career while pretending to support it. The question was no longer what Desmond had done, but how far he was willing to go to protect a deal worth $50 million in fees to Sterling and Associates. The next morning, I walked into the executive conference room carrying 3 identical folders. The emergency partnership meeting had been called for 8 a.m. sharp. 7 partners sat around the mahogany table, their faces ranging from curious to concerned. Managing partner Isabella Whitmore opened the session. "Quentin, you've made serious allegations against one of our founding partners. Present your..." I distributed the folders methodically. Each contains documented proof that Desmond Blackwood has been systematically stealing confidential client files, strategic memos, and case materials for the past 8 months. The purpose: facilitating a secret merger with Sterling and Associates that would eliminate our international arbitration division. Desmond sat perfectly still, his expression unreadable. "These are serious accusations, Quentin. I hope you can substantiate them." Page 3 shows your access logs to the Yamamoto Industries files at 2:17 a.m. on October 15th. Page 7 documents your download of the Petrotech arbitration strategy at 11:43 p.m. on November 2nd. Page 12 contains screenshots of emails between you and Sterling's managing partner discussing asset consolidation and redundant personnel. Partner Isabella Crawford leaned. "Desmond, is this accurate? I've been exploring strategic opportunities for the firm's growth. That's part of my fiduciary responsibility as a founding partner, without disclosure to the partnership, while actively undermining a colleague's practice." I kept my voice level. "This shows you've copied files from 43 active cases, including privileged attorney-client communications." The room fell silent. Isabella Whitmore's face had gone pale. "Desmond, these are actionable violations of our partnership agreement and potentially criminal breaches of client confidentiality." "I need to make a call," announced partner Isabella Montgomery, reaching for her phone. "The State Bar needs to be notified immediately." Desmond finally spoke, his voice tight with controlled anger. "You're all overreacting. Sterling has offered us a partnership track that would triple our international revenue. Quinton's division represents less than 12% of our annual billings. This is about firm survival, not personal vendettas." "It's about trust," I replied. "You've violated attorney-client privilege for 43 clients. You've breached our partnership agreement. And you've committed theft of proprietary information. The dollar amounts are irrelevant." Isabella Whitmore stood. "This meeting is adjourned pending a formal investigation." "Desmond, you're suspended from all client contact effective immediately. Quinton, please prepare a comprehensive report for the Compliance and Conduct Division." 3 hours later, Trust Account Investigator James Anderson arrived with 2 assistants and a warrant for our digital records. His reputation preceded him, 15 years investigating attorney misconduct, with a conviction rate approaching 90%. "Mr. Huntington, I understand you've uncovered of systematic client file theft?" I handed him the complete audit trail I'd compiled. "Everything's documented here. File access logs, email communications, copied documents, and recorded admissions from last night's confrontation." Anderson reviewed the materials with practiced efficiency. "This appears to involve multiple felony counts of theft of trade secrets, breach of fiduciary duty, and violation of attorney-client privilege. We'll need your full cooperation." "You have it." The investigation moved swiftly. Within a week, Anderson's team had traced the stolen files to Sterling and Associates' servers. The merger documents revealed the full scope of Desmond's betrayal. He'd been promised a senior partnership position and a $2 million signing bonus in exchange for delivering our client base. The State Bar filed formal charges on December 3rd. Desmond hired criminal defense counsel and attempted to negotiate a plea agreement, but the case was overwhelming. Our clients, led by Yamamoto Industries, filed a class action lawsuit seeking damages for the breach of confidentiality. I spent the next month in depositions, bar hearings, and client meetings. Each session revealed new layers of Desmond's deception. He'd been planning the merger for over a year, systematically identifying our most valuable clients and copying their confidential strategies. The partnership voted unanimously to expel him on December 18th. The criminal charges were filed 2 days later. Sterling and Associates withdrew their merger offer and settled the client lawsuits for an undisclosed amount rumored to exceed $8 million. Isabella Crawford approached me after the final partnership meeting. "Quinton, we owe you an enormous debt. Your investigation saved this firm's reputation and possibly our licenses to practice." "I just followed the..." "You did more than that. You chose integrity over convenience. That's rare in this business." The bar disciplinary hearing concluded on January 15th. Desmond Blackwood was disbarred permanently, his law license revoked for life. The criminal trial was scheduled for March, but his attorneys were already discussing plea negotiations. I helped 3 junior associates who'd been caught in Desmond's web of deception. They'd unknowingly assisted with file transfers, believing they were working on legitimate business development projects. The bar cleared them of wrongdoing after reviewing my testimony about their lack of knowledge regarding the true purpose of their assignments. The firm's reputation recovered faster than expected. Our transparency during the investigation and cooperation with authorities earned praise from the legal community. Several clients who'd initially expressed concern about the breach ultimately strengthened their relationships with us. But the personal cost was significant. 15 years of mentorship and friendship had been revealed as calculated manipulation. Every piece of career advice, every opportunity Desmond had provided, every moment of trust had been part of a longer game I'd never suspected. The silence in his former office spoke volumes about the price of betrayal in a profession built on trust. 6 months later, I stood in my new corner office overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge. Morrison and Partners had offered me a senior partnership position, specializing in international arbitration and legal ethics consulting. The irony wasn't lost on me. My first case involved representing a whistleblower attorney who'd exposed billing fraud at a mid-sized firm in Portland. The parallels to my own experience made the work feel like a calling, rather than just another client matter. The legal community had embraced my story as a cautionary tale about trust and verification. I'd been invited to speak at 3 Bars Association conferences about identifying internal fraud patterns. The California State Bar asked me to join their ethics committee reviewing attorney misconduct cases. Isabella Crawford called weekly with updates from the old firm. They'd implemented new digital monitoring systems and mandatory ethics training. The partnership had voted to establish the Huntington Protocol, quarterly audits of all client file access and billing records. "Your legacy isn't the betrayal you uncovered," she told me during our last conversation. "It's the systems you helped create to prevent future ones." Desmond Blackwood pleaded guilty to embezzlement and conspiracy charges in March. He received 18 months in federal prison and was ordered to pay full restitution. The criminal trial I dreaded never materialized. His cooperation with prosecutors led to investigations at 2 other firms where he'd previously worked. The 3 junior associates I'd helped clear found positions at respected firms. One sent me a handwritten note thanking me for protecting their careers when I could have easily let them become collateral damage. My new practice focused on complex international disputes, but I reserved time for pro bono work helping attorneys navigate ethical dilemmas. The California Lawyer magazine published my article about recognizing manipulation in professional relationships. I publish essays on power abuse in elite firms for the American Bar Association Journal. The nightmares about altered timestamps and missing files had finally stopped. Sleep came easier knowing that my investigation had prevented other attorneys from experiencing similar betrayals. My assistant knocked and entered with the afternoon mail. Among the usual correspondence was a letter from the State Bar of Nevada. They wanted to consult on a case involving a partner who'd allegedly stolen client settlement funds while planning to leave for a competing firm. The patterns were always the same. The technology changed, but human greed remained constant. I opened my laptop and began drafting my response. There was work to be done, and I'd learned that silence in the face of betrayal only enabled more victims. The Golden Gate Bridge stretched across the bay, its cables holding firm against the wind. Some structures were built to last, designed with integrity from the foundation up. Others crumbled when tested. It was finally over, and the silence felt earned.